But we don't have nowhere to plug it in over there.
Oh, we don't?
We don't have an outlet over there. The only outlet we have is behind the dryer.
Oh, I thought we had one here.
Well, we could put one in, but it's not the same plug.
Ah, fuck it, we can do it some other time.
All right, you don't want to plug it in yet? We don't have to. Do you want to take the missing link off? Do you want to do anything with it?
Yeah, we can take the missing link off if you want. What do you feel like? Open it up?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Might be better judging by that wire, but my God, this thing is, it's so fat.
Really? You think it's bigger than the one you had?
Oh yes, this thing is, well, it's rated for twice the power. By the way, we need to get you a better tripod. I thought you already had like some fancy one, but they're not that one.
No. Some of my equipment is crap, but that's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get a good one while
all
you're
this
here.
stuff. Oh, and by good one, I mean like $10 instead of $4.
Yeah, I was trying to save a little.
Oh, on that you try to save it. Okay, there's a lot of junk. Okay, so tell me the story about this.
Well, okay, so this is a really, really old mid-states welder. It's a straight arc welder. It's 310 to 300 amps. You take and you plug your cord into these various receptacles, and they're all at fixed amperages. It's pretty neat, really.
It's like mine, but instead of going to 150 amps, it goes to 300 amps, and it doesn't have the switch. Switch is busted out. It has a vise welded to the top. It's very well banged up. Where did you get it? What was the industry that it was in?
Well, there was a gentleman on the south side of Chicago, and he ran a huge storage facility for trucks, cars, buses, boats, anything like that. Beautiful old brick building, a lot of room, and they used it to fix and fabricate things there at the site. He told me that he learned how to weld on it. It had been passed down through his family, because it is most likely from the 1940s. It still works. The switch, the switch broke, so instead of actually buying a switch and putting a new one in, they just wired it together.
Yeah.
If you plug it in, it's on.
Oh right, it came with a cart. Let's go check out the cart real quick, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Because it was a metal cart that you had to cut it off, right?
Well, I did. When they built the metal cart, they welded the rails in so tight as to hold the welder itself. You could not take it off the cart. And so I cut it so we could get it off while we refurb it and go through it.
Yeah. Oh, and about that, you are wanting to do like a full restoration of it and like probably repaint it, right?
I do. I want to just do a full resto on it. I want it to look beautiful. I want it to look like when it was new.
I think mine is kind of in the shape where I could just let it go for a little bit longer. It has more patina, not corrosion. This is in a pretty rough state. Would you keep the vise and stuff on the top? It might be so difficult to remove it. It's been so sloppily welded on there.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
And it does give it character, because that's probably been there since the 40s.
It's an old vise, and it's a U.S. made Craftsman vise.
Yeah. Does it work fine?
It does work. And when I bought it, there was a piece of rebar chucked into here.
Oh, nice.
And held tight.
So I think we should probably do a video of just restoring that vise, because it's a part of it. And then this entire top piece should be painted black and sandblasted. Well,
yeah.
Other way around, but yeah.
And we can do a little body work. We'll knock out the dents in it, and we'll just make it look nice and presentable again. Maybe we'll even use a little filler.
Does it say pull leader plug?
Pull? I don't know. What the?
It might mean this plug.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my! I just realized something.
What's that?
This might be an entire plate with like information. So behind this would be an adjuster. Mine's missing. That might not just be a. Well, it's hard. It's difficult to tell. It might just be layers and layers of paint, because it looks like someone just really slathered paint on there. There's even paint over the label.
Well, as I understand it, these things use a sparking device that has a certain gap, and that gap needs to be adjusted precisely, and it wears over time. So every 40 or 50 hours of use, you might re-gap the thing like you would an old set of spark plugs, and that'll give you that, good operation that they're looking for.
Let's go check out your the cart that you got with it. You took it off of.
Okay. Okay, so.
It's a neat cart.
Yeah, and look at those wheels. I mean,
Those are pretty old too.
They are. And, you know, if we went to buy these wheels and this metal, we could certainly spend $100 or more, you know. And I don't even know if we could find wheels that cool. But there was an angle iron piece across here that locked it in. And then this was a box section here that was a little bit too wide, and I had to cut this out and cut off the piece of angle iron, you know, and I figured what the heck, because we're going to make the cart look nicer anyway. And honestly, I would prefer that
you do have a bigger vise. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
That is a massive thing.
That is no joke. That vise is so heavy with it.
January 1906. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a
Maybe we should restore that while I'm here.
We need to restore that while you're here.
Oh.
And I bought everything that we need to do it. So that's a Charles Parker vise. I forget where they're made, New Hampshire or something. I got one hammer from the guy, one chipping hammer.
Nice.
And
whatever you can get for free, it's always fun. Oh, I just had an idea. I wonder if we could race this down the road.
Well, we could. We could put a motor on it. We could do whatever you need.
Well, I just mean like a kick sled type thing, because it is steer.
It does. You're going to be in bad shape.
I know, and I wouldn't want to ruin the wheels because they are cast iron.
I know. It's actually a pretty cool little thing, isn't it?
That is.
And I think we just modify and just make it so the unit can come on and off with a lift.
I think that should be restored also, and I think maybe we should add a little rubber pad on the wheels just to make it a little softer.
It's a good idea. We could just use strip rubber and just glue it on. I'd like it so that we could take like the little shop crane, lift the welder on and off, you know, once the restore is done, so that it actually just fits in between these beams. The welder is really heavy. I think it might weigh close to 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an exaggeration.
I think mine's like 200 and some pounds, and so yours is just a bit bigger, and it's like twice the capability. You know, I think maybe a little bit of wood would make this look neat. What do you think? Like,
I agree. Let's use some wood and give it some nice character.
When I first saw it, I thought these were big pieces of wood, but I don't know.
It's just scrap metal that they had.
Yeah.
And
it's obvious that it was like from like a truck repair shop or something like that.
And I think that they used the actual welder to build this.
Oh, definitely.
Then they put it in it and welded it in with the welder.
Well, duh.
Honestly, for what I paid for the welder, it was worth that for the cart.
You paid what, $100?
$100 for the whole thing, and I got to thank you for
bad.
that. Because I was looking at spending, honestly, I was thinking about spending $700-800.
Yeah.
Because I wanted something that could do it all. And these Lincoln welders and these,
well, they're like 10% duty cycle. They're horrible.
Yeah, they're horrible. They're 10-15% duty. You use them for 1 minute. You got to shut them off for 10 so they don't melt.
Pat was going on and on about like, I don't know, like what welder should I get? And I'm like, dude, you look at all this shit you have. You like old stuff. Like look at your lawnmower over there. Like you obviously like old stuff. I bet I could find you something old. And so I went on Craigslist and look what I found. There was a missing link, just like mine, and it's like, you need to get that. And you're like, well, I guess it could work. And then I'm like, listen to me. You know it's what you want. And then like as soon as you saw it, like the picture of it, and you sat on it for like a couple hours, I could tell you were really sold. And then like the owner almost didn't want to get rid of it or something, I think.
Well, once I told the guy that I was interested in it, he says, you know, I learned how to weld in this. I really don't know if I want to sell it. And I said, oh, come on. I said, if you sell it to me, it's going to have a good home. We're going to restore it, make it beautiful, do a video on it. He says, no, I really don't want to sell it. And then I was, and then I was even thinking that, hey, let's offer the guy more money, because I wasn't that price sensitive on it. I would have paid a little more, you know. But he called me back 20 minutes later and he says, no. He says, this is what I need to do to get my life in order. I need to start thinning out this stuff. The guy had this family business that his dad started back around 1960 in south side of Chicago. And Chicago was just taxing him to death. They put a 40% tax in. They called it a parking tax. So people that like have parking lots, if they charge $10, they got to give the city $4. And they called his storage business a parking business.
Oh my God, this is spring-loaded.
Yep. It's spring-loaded, so it won't even fall and hit you in the head.
Oh, but if you're standing here,
it'll knock your teeth out if you're not careful. Be careful with those pearlies.
Well, anyway, I gotta say, I think you're, I think, like sometimes whenever I recommend a purchase, I kind of feel like maybe I'm doing a bad job, but I think you're going to be happy with this welder as long as it works.
Well, here's the thing, Ren. I don't think there's anything that the two of us can't fix.
It's got so much character in it. Although finding asbestos covered wire to replace that wire if the coil's bad, well, it might not be so easy because asbestos lasts a long time. Makes pretty good wire cover.
Yeah, it's the best wire. It's the best wiring and insulation that there is, no doubt. I think we need to go through the cable and check its integrity. We can re-insulate it if we're going to reuse it, and I'm sure we will be able to.
You have a knife? Oh wait, no, I can't do this. Never mind.
Okay.
Ugh, I hate electrical tape.
Oh,
It's disgusting.
It is.
Wait, is that like totally broken off? Whoa, that is totally broken off. Holy shit. So no need to undo that screw.
Now, when we straighten up tomorrow, I'll get cups and trays and everything.
Yeah.
I kind of just pushed everything around. I had a big mess because I was doing these outlets and the woodwork. Wow, look at that.
Where would you want to put this?
Well, let me clean off this bench over here. I'll put it right over here on this bench.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Oh, I think this was heavier than mine. Although it might just be the vice.
Would a nut driver be more useful, or?
No, I can just get this by hand.
Okay.
Looks like these aren't as corroded as mine. Mine had a rat's nest inside of it and the urine leaked down the front and really corroded a lot of the nuts.
This was indoors, you know, in a climate-controlled environment.
Well, mine was too, but it had mice.
Okay.
No, it's fine. I'm plugged in. Oh well. You okay if I scuff up the plastic on this?
Of course.
You better know, any tools I touch are going to get scuffed up.
Hey, your philosophy is a tool has to earn its keep.
Yep. Oh, that's a lot of broken wires on that. I guess that'll be the spark gap?
I think so, but I don't see anything there we can't fix.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is yet. I wouldn't be saying we can't fix it.
Oh, it's a piece of cake.
Your confidence is interesting.
What I see here is child's play.
Yeah, I know. Well,
No, I'm just messing with you, but.
well, I see burnt wires. And actually there's a big difference in all of this. The
Really?
transformer looks the same. There is, it's like actually maybe 7 turns, no 6 turns on the coil. The wires are thicker. The capacitor is smaller. You know, this might actually be a later one. Maybe they did actually refine the design, and that's why they have 4 connectors instead of that. Like maybe they realized this could arc over or something.
Yeah.
And so mine is crowd here just because it's an earlier version, closer to World War II.
You know, it's very interesting that it has 6 turns on there, because those plans that I found online.
Yeah.
For copies of that new arc pig unit or you know, the arc starting systems.
High cycle welding units.
Yeah, they all use this 6-turn design.
I bet they totally ripped this off. I bet that's what it is.
They did. The people who made this invented this way back in the day.
Wait, this actually might be replaced.
It could be, but
I don't know.
Okay, so if this is an actual mica capacitor, now the one you had the other day said mica. And so mica is this like solid ceramic capacitance material. It doesn't usually fail. Matter of fact, in old radios and stuff, they don't replace it when they do restores.
But mine,
yours had a crack in it.
It was actually cracked in half. You could see it was pushed apart.
Well, if this one's not cracked, I would say we would go with it. It would still be good, and we would just change this oil one.
But look at this. The wiring has snapped there, and it's burnt there.
Well,
so something has happened.
Yeah. I mean, this is the spark gap mechanism, and
it looks like that's been removed intentionally.
Yes.
Someone has removed it to, like, to see if they could fix whatever happened, and they just never messed with it and put it back together. I think before we turn this on, we should take it all apart, and we will have another video of taking this all apart, looking at the actual wiring of it, and then also like sandblasting and painting the outside. But the front plate seems, it is obscured by a lot of paint, but it looks like it still says Model 1, just like mine.
You know,
that's interesting.
I guess what I'm thinking is, really about the only thing that would stop us would be if that transformer was fried.
Mica capacitor, Sangamo type F2L.
Well, in all likelihood, that's as good as the day it was made.
Yeah. Amps, 17. Kilocycle, 5,000. No, that's 5,000 volts. And what's that underneath that other terminal over here? What's that say? Can you see from that angle? Underneath that.
No, I can't read it from here. So this device...
Oh, I see. So you do adjust that, and there is a gap between those two pieces.
Yep.
So like a very hair-thin gap between those, and I get it now.
Yep, and this is probably, insulators.
Oh.
These are just insulators.
And you see what happened? This has a slot drilled in it.
Oh, I see. To turn it, and that one
this
snapped
one's
off.
snapped off.
We can replace that.
Yeah.
Or we can even cut it shorter and just put a new slot in it, because it looks like there's more than enough material on
Might
it.
be good to soak that in some rust removal stuff, though.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to push it too hard.
No.
And then was that like mica or what's that?
That's like foil and asbestos, probably.
Yeah.
Be my guess.
Well, I've seen that before. It's actually a mineral. It's a mineral that they harvest. Have you seen those minerals before?
Yeah.
Like on the side of railroad tracks? It's something like that, I think.
Oh, vermiculite?
Vermiculite, perhaps.
I think vermiculite, yeah.
But I find it interesting that they actually use tape. Oh, what's that like? It starts with a B, I think. It's a tape that has like a tar substance on it. And
Yeah,
over
butyl.
time- Oh, so it is butyl.
Yeah, I think it's butyl.
Okay, well, it is butyl then.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Because I remember I have an old roll from the 1960s that's like one solid tube. And it'll never come apart.
Well, it's not very complex. If the transformer's good, I think we can go through, replace that capacitor, that CAN capacitor. We'll find out what it is, and we'll get a brand new, modern equivalent. It's going to be a tiny thing compared to that, and it's going to be better and more reliable.
And
oh, look at there is writing.
is writing on that.
Let me get my light on that for us.
To see what that reason is. Perhaps. Oh, you mean? Oh, okay, I see.
As far as the mechanical adjustment broke, and once it broke, they finally gave up.
Oh, look at that.
So it's not all there. So it's like the Rosetta Stone.
And look at that. So this, I guess, was used to adjust the spark gap. You put that piece of copper
Oh my
between
gosh!
the
Look
gap.
at that.
If only I would have had this on my missing link, I would have been able to understand it. And it looks like there was a sticker on there, so we should work on trying to peel that off.
Okay, we'll get that.
There's a golden sticker you can see, like right there.
Maybe we can use that citrus remover, get the paint loose enough so we don't take off the, the ink on it.
We'll use it with like Q-tips just
Yeah.
if we're going to do that.
But now we can make a replacement gap setter for you based on this one.
Or heat.
Oh,
The
yeah.
heat gun?
Yeah.
Maybe try heat gun first
Okay.
and see if we can peel
All
it
right.
off. Do you have a pair of dental tweezers?
I do. I've got all that. I think that's upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to get a pair of those. Use a screwdriver only. Be sure the adjusting screws can be turned without excessive pressure, nor too freely. The lock screw adjusts the pressure on the threads. Do not turn it tight. Place the gauge fastened to the panel, what I suspected, which is 0.005 inch thick, between each gap. Turn the adjusting screw to the right against the gauge, then turn adjusting screw left only enough to allow the gauge to be pulled out. Do not make this adjustment without unit operating or with, no. Do not make this adjustment with unit operating or with current on. The amount of high cycle current is controlled by the adjustment of the gap. Excessive current will cause unpleasant bursts due to spark jumping between, it trails off. The castle of But yeah, that's it.
You know what I just noticed here, Rick?
It's like, we can figure out what that is. Oh, what have you noticed?
Well,
What have you noticed?
okay, so this spark gap mechanism, it operates off both sides of this coil. And this wire is actually physically broken off the coil itself.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to need to scrape away the insulation a little bit. We're going to need to get the edge of that wire. And I think we can do it.
Yeah.
And actually, it gives me more confidence that we're going to be able to fix this, because what happened was...
It's a physical fault.
Yeah. And it's going to be on the outside of the winding, not some, insulation failure inside. We're going to be able to find that wire. We're going to be able to fix it.
Agreed.
And I think what we do is we reattach wires to the transformer, and then we will secure them in some fashion to a solid spot, so that in the future they can't be pulled on again.
Yeah,
And
because this is supposed to go right here.
yes.
And so it's adjustable through there.
Yep, and then this thing, of course, over the years it got rusty, and then somebody snapped that, and then when they tried to take it apart, they broke the wire off, and they said, "The heck with it, we're done."
Oh, you know what? Look at that. What do you bet that was?
I don't know. Dropping something on it?
I bet somebody dropped this thing, or hit it with like a rolling truck. You know,
sure.
like something probably fell off like a jack stand and hit it.
Sure.
I bet this thing was knocked so hard that actually fell off. And that broke some of the wires free, and it never worked again.
Yeah.
It's actually from like trauma.
Now, I think we're going to be able to fix that wire ourselves with our experience, but let's just say that...
We'll have to check every component, but there's only like 6 components, so I think we can check it.
Yeah. And I think, though, that we could probably, take that outer layer of insulation off. We can find the actual wire, and we can reconnect to it. If it was to give us some real trouble, we could have a pro shop do it. Which I would be willing to do to fix something like this.
Yeah.
A modern equivalent to this that's probably not anywhere near as good can cost almost $1,000.
Yeah. So I think one thing we should work on is, it might be a good idea to get like a finer welder, like a newer like TIG welder or something like that, or something made for fine metal, like welding with this thing. This is meant for like welding 1-inch steel, because it would be nice to weld these.
All right, so we'll buy like a welder that we can do sheet metal with.
Yeah, because like this piece, the screw just goes right through. It's obviously it's rattled so much. This might even have been in the back of a truck for years.
Yeah.
And just rattled, but that screw just goes right through it.
Well, and it didn't help that when I bought it, I drove it all the way from Chicago to, where was that in Michigan? Battle Creek, Michigan.
Yeah, yeah.
All in the back of a U-Haul trailer, bebopping over there while I was getting that lawnmower, so.
Yeah.
But, hey, it's here now, and we're going to have a heck of a good time fixing it, restoring it. I think we should change, probably just...
Fully restore it.
Fully restore it. We're going to respect the unit, but we're going to put new wires and new pieces in where needed so it's fully functional.
Oh, by the way, before the battery dies, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, or I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. See ya. And then we can just kind of continue on until the battery dies.
Well, this is only day 1 of your Wisconsin adventure. So
you're right, filmed 2 videos.
So what do you think so far?
I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I hope we get some more time. Although, I mean, to be honest, we're going to cover this in another video. Probably like 5 or 6 videos will cover this whole entire thing.
Sure.
But I think it might be a good idea to get your workshop organized into a proper lab. Yeah. And then we can actually start really doing some work. And even get some of the stuff from your other house moved over. Right. Because you have he has like 2 workshops that are kind of just like in a state of moving over here, and so we just kind of. Well, exactly. We bought this house just late this spring, and. This spring, I forgot about that. Yeah, it was April, and so just been in the process of just doing things, and not too bad of progress to date. It's a really nice house. We'll have to do a video on the house too, because it's mid-century. It looks like it's straight out of like The Incredibles. It's like the rich villain owns it. Well, I got very lucky, so I'm happy about that. Very cool. And I'm looking forward to, I'd like to restore these badges and nameplates, even put the paint in and wipe them and do all that stuff so they have the relief, and these insulators, we'll take them all out and we'll clean them. We'll use all the original parts as we can. Actually, the paint chips off pretty well. It's like just like house paint. Like they were just slathered house paint on everything back then. Yeah. So a bit of heat might actually be enough for that, but I think we should try chemicals. Because the chemicals do work pretty good. Sure. I think we've run out of things to say. Or are you about to say something?
Well, the only other thing I would say was it didn't actually have cast iron feet.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't have a base, so it is all sheet metal, but it's configured a little bit different than the one that you had.
Yeah, I thought that was a baby like cast iron. I thought that was its own thing. Because mine, I don't think it had a little black stripe on it. But that might just be someone painted it on there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
well, it's, you know what? You look at it now, it sure isn't a straight line. So that must have been somebody's idea of a race paint job.
Oh, and there is red underneath that, so.
All right, so it's not original at all.
Yep.
Do you think this switch is original, or do you think it? I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's original. Looks like it's a heavier duty switch, because you know it's switching quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, all right.
that's pretty good.
Cool.
Okay, just like a second one. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. See ya. That's good enough for me.